morning, scholars, and happy Thursday! We have one more day and then it's Friday. Whoop! I hope you have been having an awesome week so far. Remember, this week we're studying a different African American author every single day. So today we're going to learn about a completely new author, and I think you're going to like her. Let's go check her out. Okay, scholars, our author of the day is Denene Millner. Denene Millner. And here's a picture of Denene. Let's learn a couple facts about her. First, she is an American author and journalist. So unlike all the people we've learned so far who are famous for football, being producers and actors and singers and directors, she is actually an author. So her job is being an author to write multiple books, not just one or two, like a couple of the other people we've learned about this week. She is also a journalist, which means she writes articles for newspapers and magazines, on top of being an author for books. She was a reporter for the New York Times Daily News. So being able to work for the New York Times is one of the hardest jobs to get because almost every journalist wants to be able to write for the New York Times because the New York Times is like the top of the top of the top, the best newspaper in the United States of America. You can buy the New York Times newspaper everywhere in the whole entire United States, which is why people want to be a journalist for the New York Times. So she used to be a journalist for that newspaper. Talk about amazing. She has also written 23 books. So she has done a lot of work. She doesn't just write children's books, though. She also writes books for adults and teenagers, and then children's books, too. Let's look at a couple pictures of Denene, and then we'll see a video of her as well. Here's Denene. So beautiful. I love the background with all the flowers and colors. I had to put this picture on here just because of how colorful and pretty this picture is. Here she is with her family. She has 2 daughters. And here she is holding 2 books that she has written. One called Crown and then one called Early Sunday Morning. Now let's go watch a video of Denene for just a couple minutes just so we can meet her and see who she is as a person before we talk about the book that we're going to be reading today.
What I'm most passionate about with my career is shining a light on the everyday lives and really the humanity of African American people. To me, covering African Americans is a beat that allows you to go and see the pulse of a community and to see how it thrives, how it grows, how it functions, how it loves, how it's just beautiful. And so that that really sort of opened the door for me to be able to tell stories in a way that honors who I am, how I was raised, who my parents are, where they come from, but also to shine a light for other people and serve as a window for folks who aren't in the community. I have a book that I wrote with Will Smith called The Fresh Princess. It's like a take on The Fresh Prince. And Will Smith held the book up on his Instagram page, which is, some obscene number of followers. And my daughters, so I was getting a lot of likes. I reposted it and I was getting a lot of likes. And that's fine and dandy. But when my daughters said, "That's my mama," and their Instagram page, it's like, oh, my kids are like proud of me, and they don't necessarily always say that. They don't necessarily always, acknowledge it. But to have them say, "That's my mama," and show it to all of their friends, I don't think they know that, how awesome that was, but it was kind of awesome.
Did you like hearing from her? She has such a powerful voice. I love the voice that she uses to talk about everything that she believes in. That's the kind of voice that we want everyone to be able to have. That's why it's one of our Drive core values. V is for voice. And she is a great example of someone who uses her voice. I love that about her. I hope we also enjoyed the story that she writes today because it is a beautiful story that made Miss Castle almost tear up reading it because she loved it so much. So let's get into the story for today. In today's story, our character is going to feel very puzzled. Say puzzled. What does it mean, scholars, to feel puzzled? Yeah, the boy's going, Go with me. Yeah, sometimes when you go like this, or you're like, that's usually when you're puzzled. And it says when you really can't figure something out, you're a little confused. You're trying to figure something out. So sometimes if I'm doing a math problem that's really hard, I go, and I try to figure out how to solve the math problem because I can't figure it out. So that's sometimes when I'm really puzzled. I have it in a sentence as well, which it's actually the same sentence that I was just acting out. It says, the teacher's math question puzzled me. I was trying to figure out the math question and I just couldn't figure it out. I was so puzzled. I was confused and I couldn't figure out how to solve the problem. So I was puzzled. So in our story today, one of our characters is going to feel very puzzled. It is our job to figure out which character it is and why they're feeling puzzled. Another feeling word that we're going to feel in this story is thankful. We saw this word a couple days ago with a different story. What does it mean, scholars, to feel thankful? Yeah, it's when you want to thank somebody. When you have that feeling that you want to thank somebody, you feel thankful. I have the same sentence as the other day as well. It says, I was thankful when my teacher helped me read a page in the book. So it was really hard to read and my teacher helped me. And I was so thankful for her giving her time to help me figure out the words because it was really challenging me. And I was really thankful that she did that. In today's story, there's a couple things I want you to do. I want you first to describe the two main characters. There's two of them. And I want you to think, how are they different from each other? How are they different? Then I want you to think about what main event changed everyone's lives in this family. So something happened in this story, and I want you to think about what was it that changed everyone in the family's lives. Something happened, and it changed how they were going to view the rest of their lives. I think you're going to be able to figure it out in the story when we read it, but those are the two things I want you to think about. Our story today is My Brother Charlie. And this is actually a book that was in our first grade classroom. It is a great story. So I know some of my first graders maybe read this when they grabbed it from the library, but it's My Brother Charlie. I hope you enjoy the story today just as much as I did. My Brother Charlie, written by Holly Robinson Peete and Ryan Elizabeth Peete. We've always been together, even in Mommy's tummy. My twin brother Charlie and me. We still share lots of things, curly hair and brown eyes, how much we love hot chocolate with marshmallows, our dog Harriet, rolling in the grass, music, football, and names that start with the letter C, Callie and Charlie. But being twins doesn't make us exactly the same. I'm 2 minutes younger than Charlie. I can stare for hours at the Big Dipper and the moon, and I love to talk. Charlie is skinnier and goofier than me. He hates math. When he looks at the sky, he finds jets and helicopters, and sometimes my brother gets very quiet. When we were babies, I pointed out flowers and cats and fireflies. I snuggled and giggled with Mommy on dark nights, and told Mommy again and again how much I love her. But Charlie was different. He couldn't play with me or kiss Mommy's cheeks when she hugged him. And he didn't say, I love you. Seems those words were locked deep inside my brother. Everyone told my Mommy not to worry. He's just being a boy, they said. But Mommy knew there was something different about Charlie. I knew it too. Scholars, what are some of the differences between Charlie and Callie? As we grew older, Mommy watched Charlie very carefully. She and I could see he was struggling. Then Mommy discovered that Charlie's brain works in a very special way because Charlie has autism. It's harder for Charlie to make friends or show his feelings or stay safe. One doctor even told Mommy that Charlie would never say I love you. That made Mommy and me saddest of all. I have learned from Charlie that love doesn't always come from what you say. It can also come from what you do. And so we do right by Charlie. We love Charlie strong. We watch him with the might of angels. We have to. When Charlie wants something, nothing stops him, even when it's dangerous. And there are days when it's hard to be Charlie's sister. Sometimes he can ruin the best play dates. Other times he seems so far away, like when we won't look at me, or speak, or play. I wish I could crawl inside Charlie's world to move things around for him and for me. I know Charlie wants to be in my world, fitting in, making friends, having fun, and laughing. There are good times with Charlie too, when Charlie looks right at me and welcomes me with his smile. He lets me touch his face. He laughs when we lock fingers in a holding hands game. That's Charlie's I love you, said in the silly ways we play together. Charlie is good at so much. He knows the names of all of the American presidents. He's a fish in the water. He has a very special way with animals, especially Harriet. When Harriet and Charlie are together, there's even more I love you said in the way only Charlie can, when he gets Harriet to sit, run, or listen. Charlie's got a mind that tests things: shoelaces, paper clips, apples, pine cones, and he enjoys sharing. He likes to show off his shell collection, his new sneakers, and how well he plays Itsy Bitsy Spider on the piano. Charlie likes to share how sweet he is and how much he cares about other people. When I fall off my bike or bump my head, Charlie comes running. He always makes my hurts feel better with the caring that comes from his eyes. Sometimes when Charlie can find the words, when they unlock themselves from inside him, he does say I love you. I will always remember the first time I heard him say it. So clear and kind, so Charlie. I banged my toe hard and cried. There was my brother patting my back, saying over and over again, "Don't cry, Callie. I love you." It wasn't just the words that were so strong. It was the love that Charlie showed me just by being there. "I love you too, Charlie," came from me fast. Scholars, why do you think Callie is thankful? Charlie has autism, but autism doesn't have Charlie. If you ever get to meet my brother, you'll feel lucky to be his friend. He won't care if you have the coolest sneakers or if you are the best at sports. He'll just like you for who you really are. That's Charlie. I'm blessed to be Charlie's sister and to share so much. I count my Charlie blessings every day. At the very top of my Charlie blessings list is the love Charlie and I have for each other. Said in so many ways. That story made my heart so happy. Oh, my heart. For most of you, you do not know this, but I had a cousin who was autistic as well. So this story really reminded me of my cousin because he also was autistic. Something that you should know is that people who have autism are not all the same. They are all uniquely different and they're all uniquely special. So every autistic person is different from each other, but something that is very common is the love that they have. They have this great love that they express in different ways. And in this story, we saw that Charlie was able to express his love in many different ways because at the beginning, he wasn't able to say, "I love you." Eventually, he was, which was a miracle because remember, in the story, the doctor said, "Your son may never say I love you to you." And that originally was something really sad that the family had to understand that was going to be different about their lives. But eventually, Charlie started to show that he loved his family by just doing things, by just being there. Eventually, Charlie was able to find the words to say, "I love you." Remember, he was rubbing his sister's back and he was saying, "I love you so much. I love you so much," and giving her that love that she needed to hear. I absolutely loved this story because of the love that Charlie had for his family and the way that he expressed it in his own uniquely special way. In our story, when was the sister puzzled? Yeah, she was puzzled because she was trying to figure out why her brother was different from her. They were twins, and a lot of times twins are really similar to each other. And he wasn't like her. He was way different. At the beginning, she was talking about the differences that they had. He did not say, I love you. He didn't talk a lot. He wasn't very loving. He didn't want to be hugged and touched. And then she, on the other hand, loved looking at flowers and getting hugged and cuddled by her mom. So she was puzzled, what's wrong with my brother? Why is he different from me? And that's when mom was also being like, you know what? I'm kind of puzzled too. My son's not acting right. And people kept trying to tell her, you know what? It's just because he's a boy. It's okay. But she was like, I'm kind of puzzled. I think there's something more that's happening to Charlie. And that's when they took Charlie to the doctor and realized that he has autism. And remember, having autism is not something bad. Having autism just means the way you live is going to be beautifully unique the rest of your life. And it's actually a wonderful thing. And the family realized that it was a wonderful thing as well. They were really thankful that they had Charlie in their lives, and they were thankful for the lives that they had with Charlie. And then the sister was thankful that she realized that Charlie expressed his love in a different way. I hope you really, really, really enjoyed today's story just as much as I did. And I would love to see your response to the video. So please click the link below so I can see your responses from today's video. I'll see all of you here tomorrow with me. Goodbye, everybody.